All right, moving on. It is an important day for a vote on the future of the Mercosur deal. It is also a critical day for the stakeholders directly impacted, the farmers of Europe. A fresh wave of protests has spread across member states of the bloc. Member states of the European Union have given a go-ahead for the consequential trade deal between the European Union and Latin American countries. This approval comes despite France's opposition at a diplomat-level meeting in Brussels. It is being said that the bloc will sign this agreement next week. But there is angst and dissent against this deal, which has seen building up for days in the latest wave of protests. Less than an hour away from the Belgian capital, farmers have blocked highways on Thursday night local time, rallying against the trade deal with Latin America.
There is a lot of pain, there is a lot of anger, and it's becoming more and more tense, whether it's here, in France, or in neighboring countries that are part of Europe. It's really something that concerns all of us and will impact all of us. So the feeling is very, very special because we have a feeling, a real feeling, of abandonment.
In France, protests have continued for another consecutive day, pressuring the country's government to reject the Mercosur deal. France's leadership has already said that they will not be willing to sign this agreement. A similar scene unfolded in Poland's capital, Warsaw, as well. Hundreds came out on the streets with banners and loudspeakers in hand, urging lawmakers to stop the Mercosur trade deal. Remember, this deal has been 25 years in the making. The trade pact with Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay would be the EU's largest in terms of tariff cuts. Germany, Spain and the Nordic countries say that it will boost exports hit by US tariffs and reduce reliance on China by securing access to minerals. But farmers across Europe and France fear an influx of cheap commodities that could hurt European farmers, which is what hundreds are still protesting about. And to get us more from Brussels, I'm joined by William Denslow. William, this is an important day in Brussels. All eyes, of course, on that particular meeting. All the EU agricultural ministers now eyeing that the Mercosur deal gets through. But obviously, there have been concerns. The French farmers are back on the streets of Paris, and they are not letting their own government sign this deal.
Well, the real question heading into this vote was, what would Rome decide? Now, why this is significant and why Italy's vote perhaps matters more than most on this particular day is that they are seen on this occasion as kingmakers. The reason for that is that this trade deal that you rightly mentioned has been in the works for over 2 decades now. It doesn't need to be decided unanimously by European capitals. In fact, only a minimum of 15 nations of the 27 EU member states are required as part of a qualified majority, as long as those 15 member states make up 65% or more of the total population. Now, that means that the likes of France, the likes of Poland could vote against this move, but if the qualified majority still exists, then this deal can go through. Rome had pushed for this vote to be delayed when it was expected to go through at the end of 2025. But it seems that Giorgia Meloni, the leader of Italy, has now backed this move, which is meaning that it is expected to go in force. Some concessions for farmers have been made in recent days, but of course, as you rightly mentioned, there's still plenty of anger amongst the agricultural sector that they'll be adversely impacted by this significant trade deal.
All right, William Denslow, let's see what happens today in Brussels. Thanks very much for getting us the latest at the moment.